so that I'll try to go through each exercise with you all so that you'll be prepared for the exam for tomorrow. I know it's a little late, but I know many of y'all don't go to bed early anyway. So let's get ready. So the problem number 1 is x squared plus 2x minus 24. So let's go try to do this right now together. X squared plus 2x minus 24. We're going to have two binomials because we're trying to make the polynomial into two binomials. First thing we have to look at is x squared. What two numbers give us x squared? Well, x times x gives us x squared. So that x will go here, and the second x would go there. One's going to be a plus and the other a minus because because we have a plus here and a minus here. Now we look at 24. So you see we took care of the x squared. Now we're looking at the 24. We have to look to see what two factors of 24 will give us 2. Well, let's think of it through. What two factors of 24 will give us 2 when added or subtracted? Oh, I have an idea. 4 and 6. If added or subtracted will give us 2 because 4 minus 6 gives us 2. So let's see here. Since 2x is positive, we'll put the larger number, which is a 6, with the positive. So we'll put 6 here and we'll put 4 here. So, but unfortunately, though I'm pretty sure that's right, we have to use FOIL method to verify whether it's right. So let's verify with the FOIL method, shall we? So FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, last. I went over this many times, but first would be x times x, which is x squared. Next is outer, which is x times negative 4, right? Negative 4. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Then you have inner, which is plus 6 times x, which is plus 6x. And then you have the last, which is 6 times negative 4, which is negative 24. Now we simplify the middle two terms, and we get x squared plus 2x minus 24. If you notice, this polynomial and this polynomial are the same, which means this binomial that we came up with has to be correct. But we're not done from there. Now that we know that is correct, we have to solve for x. So so x will be the opposite whatever in the binomial. So whatever is the opposite of plus 6 is negative 6, and what's the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. And that is the answer for number 1. Now let's do number 2 together. So with number 2, it's a little different because we have 3x squared. So it's hard to tell what is what, although with practice and you could figure out what it is. But let's do it the ABC method. The ABC method is you have to multiply the first and last term together. So 3 times negative 6, which gives us 18. Now we look to see what factors of 18 give us 11x. Excuse me, or will give us a positive 11. So I'll write positive 11 there. I know you can't really see that, but plus 11. Alright, well, there we go. 2 and 9. 2 times 9 is 18, and 2 plus 9 is 11. So the factors are 2 plus 9. Alright, So keep that in mind, 2 and 9. Let me just erase what's up here and proceed. So now let's rewrite the formula. So we have the polynomial. So we have 3x squared plus the new set of numbers, which is 2x plus 9x minus 6. All right. Now we have to group the new polynomial that we wrote, or trinomial rather. So we're going to group 3x squared and this, and we're going to group 9x squared to here. So we're grouping into two binomials. Now we need to factor out. From this set, we can factor out x, leaving us 3x plus 2. All right. And we can factor out from the next binomial. Looks like we can factor out a 3. And when we factor out a 3, we're left with 3x minus left with 3x minus 2. Yes, we're left with 3x minus 2. So as we see here, we have this binomial and this binomial. So when these two binomials are not the same, then if they're the same, we write it down. But since they're not the same, we have to write everything down. So we're left with the following binomials. We're left with x plus 3, 3x plus 2, and 3x minus 2. So now we know what our x is equal. Now once again, if these two binomials were the same, we will just write them down once. But because they're not, we have to write it 3 times. So x equals the opposite of each one. So for this one will be negative 3. For the next one will be negative 2 over 3. And the next one will be positive 2 over 3. Alright, that's done really quick, but that gives you an idea of how it's done. Going to erase that and move on to the next problem, which is our distance formula for number 4. So distance formula we have is d equals the square root of x1 minus x squared to the second power plus y1 minus y2 squared. Now, looks complicated, but it isn't. So let's look at the first set of binomials. The binomial we have is negative 3 and 4 and 1 and 7. And this is going to be our x1, this is going to be our x2, this is going to be our y1, and this is going to be our y2. All right, I can see where they hook up with. Now we just have to plug them in. Let's plug it into our formula and then we're good to go. Our x1 is negative 3 minus our x2, which is 1 squared, plus our y1, which is 4, minus our y squared, which is 7 squared. We simplify it. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 4 squared, plus 4 minus 7 is negative 3 squared. Let's go down. So d equals negative 4 squared is positive 16 plus negative 3 squared, which is positive 9, correct? And after we simplify it, 16 plus 9 is 16 plus 9 is this equals 25, so it's 25. But well, the square root of 25 equals 5, right? D equals 5. All right. Next, let me erase this as much as I can. And let's go on to the next one, which is finding the equations of line y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b, right? M is our slope, and we have our slope given, which is 2/3, right? X plus b, we have in the question 0 and 7. So when we have a 0 here, we can use y mx b. We just have to put the 7 for our b. So y equals this. So that's all we had to write. Easy. Alright, next is we have to write y. We have to write y equals 2x plus 7 into standard form. So all we're trying to do is get 7 by itself. So we subtract 2x from both sides. When we subtract 2x from both sides, we're going to have negative 2x plus y equals 7. And that's it. Usually the book prefers us not to have any negatives in front of there, so you could write it as this as well. Alright, that's nothing to that. Excuse me, that's nothing to it. Rather simple. Okay, delete this. Let's move to graphing the lines. So we have to graph the following line: 2x minus 3y equals 6. So let me get my brush. So if you notice, this is already in y equals mx plus b form. So another way to write this would be y equals 2 over 1x plus 7. Let's draw our line. I'll have each line represent 2. 1, 2, represent 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Our first, the 7 is this. So our x is 0 and our 7 is somewhere over here. Alright, no problem. And then our slope is 2 over 1. So we go up 2 over 1, or down, or down 2, or something like this, and over 1 this way. Down 2 and over 1. Alright, something like that. We draw our line, and here we are. Right? Up, across, up, across, up, across. Alright, so that's how that is done. Not hard. Let me erase this. Next is find the slope, find the equation of y equals mx b. Well, let's magnify that, and we'll do that together. So let's find our x. So we're going up 1, 2, and across 3, right? Up across, right? So up, we're going 1, 2, and across 3. So so it's going to be up 2 and across 3, and then we'll put y equals, we'll put our x here, and we'll make our b where we're starting out here, which is 0 here, 0, 1, 2. So that is our formula, y equals 2 over 3x plus 2. So we went up, we went up 2, across 3, up, across, across. Alright, so we went over that very quickly. Let's go over to number 15, where we have to graph f of x. Number 15 says graph f of x, or y, equals 3x, exponent of x. So we'll pick the following. I'll pick 0 to negative 2. Alright, so if 3 of x, or 3, if we replace 3 with 0, anything to the 0 power is 1. Now let's try 2. That's going to be 9. And if it's negative 2, well, 3 times negative 2, well, well, 3 to the negative second power is a little tricky to do, but that's the same thing as writing 1 over 3 to the second power, which is 1 over 9. And if you do the math, it's 9 into 1, which is impossible, so we have to add a decimal point, which is 1. 10 goes into that one time, so it goes on for infinity. So let's say it's let's say 0.1, close to 0 but not 0. Alright, now let's kind of delete all this material. Alright, and now we're going to draw this. So this is x, this is y, 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'll draw this to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so first one is 0, 1 over here. Next is 2, 9, and then negative 2 with over here something. Okay, and then it kind of goes like this. Anyway, what this graph is saying that is that it never touches 0. It never touches this part. That's all that it's about. Alright, so it should look something like that. Now, let me erase all this. And let's work on plotting the points. So that is simple. Let's say I have this here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, the first set is A for number 16, which is 2, 3. Well, x is 2, which is over here, 1, 2, and y is 3, which is 1, 2, 3. That's our first set. Alright, b is negative 1, and so negative 1's here, and negative 4 would be down over here if I had a negative 4. Alright, so this is A, and this is B. Alright, for 16 and 17. Alright, now on to side 2. Numbers 21 to 22 says write the equation of the line that has a slope of negative 4 over 5 and passes through the point 1, 4. And I wrote down the form for you all to make it a little bit easier. So all we have to do is just write it down. So we know m equals negative 4 over 5. And our x1 is going to be 1 is our x1 and 4 is our y1. Now all we have to do is just plug it in. So in the form I wrote there, so it's going to be y minus y1, which is 4, equals m, which is negative 4 over 5, and then put down the x, minus x1, which is going to be 1. Alright, and that is the answer for that. That's exactly how you would do it. Not difficult at all. See, this test is very easy. Mr. Raj is doing it right now with you all. Next is write the equation line that passes through points. Okay, so we have negative 4 and 3, and we have 2 and 6. Once again, this is our x1, this is our x2, this is our y1, and this is our y2. Write down m equals our y2, which is 6, minus y1, which is 3, over our x2, which is 2, minus our x1, which is a minus 4. Alright, a minus and a minus becomes a plus, so we'll just make that into a plus. Let's simplify it. 6 minus 3 is 3, 2 plus 4 is 6, and if we simplify it, we have 1/2. M equals 1/2, for the slope equals 1/2. Numbers 25 to 30, I'm not going to go over that. That's just adding and subtracting. And you need to memorize the verses. Romans 3:10, as is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Romans 4:12, wherefore as by one man's sin, and so forth. Romans 6:23, for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life. And the books of the New Testament order: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Thessalonians, Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, Peter, John, Jude, Revelation.